Good afternoon and welcome to That's the Way I See It. November the 11th, 2013, Veterans Day in America. And right now I'd like to send out a great big thank you and a salute to our American veterans and service people serving all around the world. Thank you for the job you do to keep us the home of the free and the land of the brave, despite what they're trying to do in Washington to us right now. Today I'd like to talk to you about a little story out of the University of California at Berkeley. It seems the University of California at Berkeley has now determined that we should no longer use the term illegal immigrant. They say that this is demeaning, demoralizing, degrading, and racist. Well, I don't often agree with people from California, but this time I believe they got it right. We've had a much better word for illegal immigrant in Texas for many, many years, and we like to call it wetback. Now, before you jump on me for being racist, I'm not a racist, and I'm not being racist. I'm just describing what that person is. A wetback is a person who illegally tries to enter the country by jumping in the river and swimming across and climbing out in America. Now, it's simple descriptive. He gets his back wet, he gets his head wet, and his front wet, and his butt wet, and his feet wet, and everything else wet, but it's just as easy to say wetback. Nothing racist about it, just describing that person. That being said, well, since the University of California has said that we can't call them illegal immigrants anymore, what are we going to call them? What are we going to call them without being pejorative towards these people? Threw that in there for you, Kara. Anyway, well, I've got a couple of ideas, and I think you might like them. Since we can't call them illegal immigrants anymore, I think we should just simplify it and call them I words. I for illegal, I for immigrant. No racism, no degrading, no demoralizing. We just say, hey, look, it's an I word when they're swimming across, So, or we could say in Texas, shorten it. Just call them the W word or W's. Now, we wouldn't want to confuse that with George W. Bush, who we all know is the cause of all our problems in this country. Now, just ask the president, he'll tell you. Obama, he'll tell you real quick. It's all George's fault. We don't want to confuse the W for the wetback for the W for the George. So, I want to clear that up right now because that would open up a whole big can of worms right there. Anyway, so, I think the solution to the University of California, Berkeley's suggestion is just call them I's or W's. Problem solved. Well, would that be PC to do that? Well, PC is politically correct for those who aren't following me here. And I want to make sure I'm politically correct. I sure wouldn't want to offend anybody on the left, because basically the definition of politically correct is whatever the people on the left believe. So, I want to make sure that I'm politically correct, PC. Well, I don't know that I can use political and correct in the same sentence. They don't go together. It's an oxymoron. It's like oil and water. They don't mix. Politics and correct just don't go together. So what am I going to do? Well, the more I think about that oxymoron, I don't want to get confused with the morons that we have in Washington, D.C. right now that are really like super oxymorons because they can't get along or work together for anything, unless it's to vote themselves raises or exempt themselves from Obamacare. Now, they're pretty good at that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish today because I think that my point is today, since we can't call these people illegal immigrants, the easiest, simple solution is I word or the W word. And solves all our problems. Well, that's the way I see it. And thank you again, veterans, for your service and your sacrifice to this country. We thank you. And God bless America. Good night.